Well, welcome everyone. We are at week 7, our 12 weeks to wellness opulence series. And we are now into the spirits, the 5 spirits that coincide with the elements and our organs. And because we have a couple of new people on tonight, I want to just briefly describe what this whole series is about. The first 5 weeks was about specific elements and the organs that correlate with them. And we are learning about these organs and we're getting deeply in touch with bodies. And so we can clear the energy in them. We can take care of them better. We can understand them better. If we have symptoms that we haven't been able to figure out, we can connect them to an organ or an element imbalance. And so this 12 weeks has just been a very deep dive into learning our body, learning our organs, learning the elements that are within all of us and connecting to ourselves. And so this week, week 7, we are on the Yi, which is associated with the earth element and the stomach and spleen. And it's all about intention and ideation. And it being the supermoon today, I invited a couple people on the call, maybe some more will pop on, just because we're going to be talking about setting an intention. And so we're going to start this off with Kristen Wister is going to do a meditation, a guided meditation for us. And then we're going to get into the meaning of the Yi and some symptoms that could be caused if you have an imbalance in your Yi. And then we're going to go over some healing programs and some other really awesome stuff. So Kristen, do you want to go ahead and do the meditation?
I would love to. And it's nice to see some new faces tonight. Wonderful, wonderful. So I just invite you to, I'm going to probably be peeking a little because I have to admit people in, but I invite you to close your eyes and just relax into your body. We're going to take 3 inhales. So inhaling and exhale. Inhale, fill your belly, feel it rise up. And exhale, belly falls. One more breath in. And a breath out. And just come into your imagination now. It's the full moon tonight. We're working with the spirit of Yi, which is the earth element. And just imagine that you are in a beautiful meadow and the sun is shining bright, but you can still see that the moon in a distance, that it's going to be rising and it's going to be full. And the weather's just perfect. And the grass is blowing in the wind. You see trees all around the meadow. It's just a beautiful place. And in the distance, you see this plot of land that looks like a garden. And so you walk towards it. You see that there's a fence around it, like a picket fence. And there's a bench just outside the garden. And you sit down on the bench and you wonder whose garden this is. Wonder what they're going to be planting. And you look at the soil, the earth soil, it's freshly tilled and it's full of organic matter. And you smell the earthiness of the soil. You smell the earthiness of the grass. You can smell flowers you can smell flowers wafting around in the air. And you're just sitting on this bench and you're just starting to feel a little sleepier and a little sleepier. And you fall into a slumber, thinking about this beautiful garden. And then you hear in your dreams, you are the Garden of Eden. What seeds do you want to plant? You are the Garden of Eden. What do you want to grow? And you hear the voice one more time. You are the Garden of Eden. What do you want to create in your life? And you keep hearing this voice telling you that you have everything within you to create whatever it is that you want. You are the heaven on earth that you're seeking. And when you use intention to create what it is that you truly desire, with clarity and clear thought, and devote attention to whatever it is that you desire, you can create it. So what do you want to harvest in this soil? What do you want to grow in this garden? How would it look for your highest and best good, for your health and well-being? If you could sow the seeds of the most amazing life, starting with your health and vitality, what would that look like? What kind of seeds would you plant? Maybe you might plant sunflowers to represent health and abundance and happiness. It's your garden. You can plant whatever you want. And how about your relationships with your family and your friends and your loved ones? What do you truly desire? What does that garden look like? What kind of seeds do you need to plant in your garden to have the most fulfilling, loving relationships? Maybe you're bringing in a new soulmate. Maybe you're working on creating more love with a partner that you're with now. What seeds do you need to plant in your inner landscape to have it blossom in the outer? What seeds would you like to plant for your life's direction and your journey towards your soul's purpose? What about your career? What would you truly desire there? And abundance and prosperity. How would it feel to have all the abundance that you need? And this garden is exactly what you want. If you can dream it, you can have it. You are the universe. You just have to direct through clear thought and intention what it is that you want. And so as you plant these seeds, you have to nurture them. You have to water them, maybe fertilize them, maybe cut the dead ends off, prune them. And you definitely have to pull the weeds. The weeds will come in like doubt, self-sabotage, not good enough. The weeds can take over so easily, and those pests can come in and start to eat up that garden. So as you become more mindful and you devote yourself to what it is that you truly desire, anything is possible. And once you plant those seeds with intention, those seeds know exactly what to do. You can let go. You don't have to control that seed. It knows how to grow into what you intend it to be. And you can have the most beautiful, bountiful garden ever. Just imagine what it looks like now. Imagine planting the perfect plants that you want in your garden to represent the aspects and qualities of your life that you so desire. Because you are the Garden of Eden. You are that powerful, that magnificent. Soak it in. And you can always come back to this visualization. It's nice to do it when you're lying in bed at night and you're reviewing your day. You can review the things that you want to plant more seeds, the actions, the thoughts, the desires. I liked that. I'm going to plant more of that seed. And then the things that you feel that weren't in alignment with your garden that became weedy and messy. Maybe there's a lot of weeds because you weren't really clear and the weeds just took over. So just pluck those weeds out. Start over again. You are the creatrix, creator of your own life in the heart womb of the earth. And we're going to end with 3 breaths. So let's take an inhale, and let's inhale the fragrance of your garden. Just smell it. And exhale, let it go. And then inhale the bounty of your garden. And exhale, release. And one more time, inhaling all the joy that you are creating of this beautiful garden that is a representation of your inner landscape. And exhale. And when you're ready, you can come back into the space.
My goodness. So beautiful. I got like chills that I hadn't experienced before. It was very like, I don't know how to describe it, but all up and down my arm. It felt like I don't know. I don't know how to describe what I did. What just
Love
but it
it.
was beautiful. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
You're
Well,
welcome.
welcome everyone who we haven't said hello to yet. Today we are talking about the yi, and up at top of the sheet that I provided, there is a link to, oh, right there. Thanks, Kristen. The link to the session done by Dr. Michelle Patrick and Taryn Lee. So if you want to watch that, I highly recommend it. But this information is directly was extracted from that session. So I'm just going to go through the first part, and then Kristen will go over the symptoms. Like, what is the yi? So the yi is the frequency and vibration of consciousness that rises through the earth element when the earth element is in its highest and greatest good. You are more possible than you could ever perceive, and whatever you can dream of, you can create in your life. This is yi. So yi really is like the intention of whatever it is that you want to be, achieve, do, experience in life. That's what this element is, what the spirit is, I should say. The yi provides us with the ability to set intentions and assist with the implementation and gestation of ideas to create a vision of the landscape of your garden. And we're gonna be talking about this metaphor of us being a garden all night. And I really resonated with it when I was listening to it, because she was saying we are the Garden of Eden. We are Earth. We live on Earth, and so we're like little flowers on Earth. Uh, and then this quote she said from the Tao Te Ching, what is well planted cannot be uprooted. What is well embraced cannot slip away. And I just thought that was so beautiful. So Kristen, do you want to talk about if we have an yi imbalance, what might one see in their lives and in their bodies?
Yes. And this has to do like with the stomach and the spleen. So the spleen has a lot to do with when we're not clear with our intentions. And so we can be a big worrier. Worrier depletes the spleen energy. You can have insomnia, obsessive thoughts, not being able to think clearly, repetitive thought patterns that aren't serving you, continuously focusing on problems in your life and not weeding them from your garden, but rather focusing on the weeds. I think we've all done that at different times in our life. Unclear cognition, brain fog, stagnation in the zones of manifestation. I mean, how can you manifest anything when you're feeling this way? And if you don't have clear intention command, you don't have clear intention, command, and devotion. And it's so interesting because I know I bring this up a lot, but we do have some new people. But when I was in a really depleted cycle and a lot of anxiety and insomnia, and I just couldn't think straight at all for kind of chronic condition, I can relate to every single one of these and to obsessive thoughts where I just couldn't stop that cycle of fear or worry over things. And it's so true. You can't move forward at all. And you can't, it's really, when you're in that place, it's very challenging to shift your consciousness. And I just think it's so incredible to understand that spleen has a lot to do with this. And now going forward, I feel like if someone else is having issues, that perhaps I could recommend some spleen frequencies, even just caring for the spleen, how important that is. Because we oftentimes are not, Michelle Patrick always says, if we're not connected to this human body, no matter how hard we, meditate or journal or all those kinds of things, but we're not really physically taking care of our bodies or not in our bodies, then we really can't manifest very well. We have to really take care of this vessel that we're in. So important to do. So just wanted to share that part.
And I just had the thought or the visualization of just like a garden, like different plants do well in certain areas. It's like your spleen is like a plant in your garden. It's a flower that needs to be taken care of in order to grow. And if it's not taken care of, it dies. If you don't put it in the right place, or obviously you're not going to replant your spleen, but it needs certain care in order to do its best for you, to work optimally for you, to bloom.
Yeah.
So how to become super yi? The ability to digest and process our experiences and impressions and turn them into usable concepts for ourselves, to be able to plow the fields of ourselves and harvest our hard work. I absolutely love that line.
Mm-hmm.
Able to plow the fields of ourselves and harvest our hard work. That's amazing.
She speaks so beautifully, doesn't she? I mean, it's like poetry that comes out of her mouth when she speaks. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. And then this one, I really want everyone to pay attention to because this resonated with me so much. Change your idea around words. What do they mean to you? When using the power of command, be careful using words that have been defined and used to suppress, and really feel into what they have been defined by others to mean outside of their limited beliefs. And then, for example, stress and anxiety. And she talks about this in the video, what did our parents tell us about stress? What does the media tell us about stress and anxiety? What do teachers tell us, our siblings, our friends? Everyone has a specific definition for stress and anxiety. Um, and those are just two examples. I mean, we could use all kinds of examples, but if you're using words, and we all know how important words are to manifestation, it's essentially sending out a frequency telling the universe what you want. So if you're saying all day long, I just don't want to be in pain, I just don't want to be in pain, the universe is hearing you say pain. So
Mhm.
just have to be very, very clear with our commands, and then redefine what these words mean to us. So that's definitely something that I want us to all focus on this week. And the Healy programs for this week that we're going to go over, that there was an extensive amount of information on them. And so we're going to spend most of tonight's call going through them, because if you're new to Healy, and that's essentially what this 12-week series has been built around, this bioenergetic bioresonance device that essentially balances our cells. And so we can be in complete harmony, and our bodies and organs can work properly, and we can be as happy and full of life and vitality as possible.
And
So
before you go into that, can I just feed off of one other thing that you were talking about with our
Sure.
words? I remember she and Taryn were talking about become commanding. And Pepper has told this, Pepper in our group, she's amazing. It's like, I command that this happens, so, and I require it. So these words that we use is done in a way that's really self-empowering. And that's another piece of what this is like really being and when you're really clear what you want, you set it forth with conviction and like this commanding in a way that's in resonance with what you need and what you require. So I love that when they were talking about that really resonated with me. And I thought that would feed off of what we were just talking about with using the power of our words.
Yeah. And Kristen, that makes me want to piggyback on you.
Okay.
And I'll be throughout this series, Kristen and I both have been very vulnerable about things going on in our lives or in our past. And I will say that using the power of command over the past 6 months, I have been saying to the universe very strongly and fiercely that I'm ready to be of service. I'm ready to reach my greatest and highest potential. Use me in a way that delights my mind, body, and spirit. I have said that I consecrate my life to the happiness, ascension, awakening, liberation, salvation, freedom, healing, and love of my whole cosmic self. And I have been saying every single day with conviction, a command to the universe, for 6 months. And over the past 2 months, seemingly from the outside, my life has completely fallen apart. But it hasn't. It's just the universe is like, this is what you want. We're going to just wipe the slate clean, and we're going to give you exactly what you want. But in order to do that, if you're weeding a garden, that's hard work. And it's not always pretty. You get really sweaty, you get dirty. Weeds that you thought you loved, or they got to go. And it's just, there's like a whole lot of gardening going on. So I'm just, what you just said about the power of our words, like being clear, it couldn't be more true. And I am a complete example of that.
You are.
Yes,
that was like dead on. That was perfect.
All right. So we're going to go through these programs. So in the gold, and if you don't have a Healy, you could either go into a place where they provide sessions, microcurrent sessions, like I do at the chiropractor's office that I work at. You don't have to have a Healy. You could just come in and do a session. Or if someone invited you on this call, you could get back to them. but we're just teaching you about the possibilities of what this device can do. So in the gold programs, the energy program is great for a depleted spleen, which contributes to lethargic energy. And balance and being are two other great programs for the yi. Being, as we've said in many other calls, it's best to do when doing nothing else. Just try to be. And under the stimulation program, it's called number 8, Roman numeral number 8, but that is the anxiety program. And again, redefining what anxiety means. Negative thoughts could be a form of anxiety. And the universe does not want us to be vibrating in low vibrational thoughts. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm one of these people, I don't suffer from anxiety, but I have negative thoughts, so maybe I do. It's not just if you're on edge all the time. Like, we just need to redefine these words. So I'm very excited to run the anxiety program this week and see what happens.
I love that too, because I think there's a shame around admitting that you're anxious. Like, when I'm feeling like I'm experiencing anxiety, there's a bit of like I'm all right, I'm fine, I'm okay. I'm really not that, I'm not anxious. I'm just a little uptight. And I appreciate how just any kind of discomfort within the body, mind, spirit, contributes to that feeling of unwellness, and to take that negative stigma out of that word and just use this program. I think it's great.
Definitely. And then I'll go over one more, and then I'll hand it over to you, Kristen. In the learning program, the stress system, and again, the foundation of the word stress means anything that is not in its greatest and highest vibration. So evaluate your definition of stress and where you develop that definition. Stress is anything that's stressing out the body. So it's not in its that says expensive, it should say expansive nature, or you. So essentially, you in your best and greatest form, you in your Garden of Eden form, should be expansive. You should feel expansive. You should feel like in a state of flow. And so even if you don't feel stressed, if your body is not in that state of flow, maybe you ate some food that you shouldn't have eaten. Maybe you're around some people who are draining, but you're around them anyway. This is stress that's happening on the body. Maybe you're not a stressed out person who's working 7 days a week, but still you can be stressed out. So try the stress system in the learning program.
Yeah, I love that. And that just reminded me of whenever we feel anything like stress or anxiety, or we've eaten something that doesn't agree with us, it can, sorry, I just need to put her in here. It's like a block in the body, and it's like clutter in the body. So if we've eaten something that has a lot of junk in it, that's clutter, and it clutters up or blocks the flow. And so that's kind of how stress works too. It just kind of blocks certain areas. So you can think of it kind of like clutter. And I know I'm kind of going outside of what we were talking about, but just to be in a clutter-free mind, a clutter-free environment, and a clutter-free space where we're flowing, and we're not holding on to something, we're just letting it go. So we can even think of clutter in that way as well. And then we move on to job, and job means stress. I've heard that. I think that's in German. I think that's what they mean. So there's one called positive thoughts, which is a really great one. And then the balanced nerves, which I love. Even if you're feeling okay, it just expands your capacity to do more, especially with the power of command. So it's, just enhancing you even more. And the balanced nerves has been incredible when I have felt anxious. It's really, really helped just flow things through my body.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you have a pretty amazing experience?
I did. It was almost kind of not panic attack, but it was a very onslaught of a lot of things that came on, and it was a very old pattern. And I was like, oh my God, here it comes again. What am I going to do? And I couldn't seem to use any of my techniques. And I was driving to the shore home, and I was breathing, but everything was tight. And I was like, ah. And then I thought, I have a Healy. And so I just decided, my nerves were like, yeah. So I tried this balanced nerves, and it literally felt like I took a Xanax. My entire body just melted. It was amazing. And I can't say enough good about it. Just incredible. So it moved it.
I really feel like that right there is the definition of resonance. Like people don't quite, the masses don't quite understand how microcurrent works, how frequency therapy works. They will, because it's the future of medicine. But I have experienced a few times, I use my Healy every single day, all day. But there are a few times when I've had an experience kind of like yours, Kristen, when I needed something and I ran a program and it resonated so much with my body that you just like feel completely different. It's wild.
It's
a
wild.
Cool experience.
And what's so cool about it is that I haven't been in that kind of stress mode since. And so I've used balanced nerves in other times, but my body was in a different state and it didn't affect me the same way. I didn't feel that same way, but it helped me. And so what's neat is there's like 10 million frequencies, and Healy they have so many different ones within each program, that at the time your body might say, I need this one and I need that one today, when you're in a real high state of anxiety. But then other times it'll be two others, and maybe you don't feel that same feeling, but the end result is still a positive one. So it's just, you feel different things every time you do it, which is pretty neat. Yeah. And then bioenergetic harmony 1, chilling, to literally chill. Potency, what do you need? What does your body need? What do you want to bring about and birth into this world through your existence? So potency helps us be clear with this. So I love the way that she looks at things, because chilling I hadn't used because I was just thinking it was for colds, for mucous membrane, and that's kind of what Healy says. But Michelle, she's really intuitive, and she can tap into the energetics of these frequencies and just kind of decipher it from this inner landscape of her body and just recommend different frequencies that really work in different ways. And that's what I love about it.
And I mean, it's the perfect example for what we're talking about with redefining words.
Yes, that's it. So
like,
true.
We're looking, everyone's always looking for, okay, well, what's the exact definition of this program?
Yeah.
And Healy gives pretty vague descriptions for compliance reasons, because the pharmaceutical companies are after us. All kinds of, we've disrupted all kinds of industries. And so our compliance is very strict. And we can't say that, this program will cure this. So it is pretty vague, but people are looking for that exact definition. Well, take that, the little bit of information that you have, and then take what you've learned here and then create something for you. What does it mean for you?
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Healy is all about. It's getting you in tune with your body, yourself, empowerment to not say, oh my gosh, I have a pain in my stomach, I got to go to the doctor. Something's wrong with me, I have cancer. Like, that's it. Which is what we've been programmed to feel like, to believe. And believe me, I'm not immune. I'm not immune at all. In fact, I'll be vulnerable again. I felt something in my breast the other day, and then I had a consultation, and actually I talked to a medium first, and the medium was like, I'm hearing tissue, dense tissue. And then I went to the doctors, and it was the same. She said the same thing. It was dense tissue. But and then I started running. I was actually going to post something on social media, but I just haven't. I started running the tissue program for Healy. And it's like, wait a second, why am I getting so freaked out about something that isn't even real? Like, let's just take some time to get in touch with my body and like really um take care of like these specific things. So that was a little digression, but again, giving our power away versus self-empowerment, asking, for answers versus tuning in and listening to the answers that are already there within us.
Yes, the body is always speaking to us, and the more we do this, the more we educate ourselves with how does this feel for me, not like hearing what someone else does. Like how does this resonate for me? What kind of garden do I want to plant for myself versus what someone else is doing? It's coming back to you constantly. Self-empowerment. Really, really cool. And then we have gastrointestinal, and this one's just great for acute issues. And I think we all swear by it. It's another one that just, it will knock something out. Yeah, it's one of our favorites. However, it's also amazing for creating integrity in the organs so we can experience those psycho-spiritual attributes, the yi, which is really fascinating. I would only think to use it for when I'm having, a discomfort in my stomach. So, yeah, pretty fascinating. And this is finally the chakras all of this comes from the solar plexus, this personal power. It also tonifies all the organs in that area, which is the stomach and the spleen. So when you're using the solar plexus, it's working on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, and that's what Healy does in all aspects. But to use the solar plexus, it's also addressing your organs in that area, which is cool.
And I did this back when we just did the earth element in the stomach and the spleen. I just went on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I'm having such a crazy moment right now. It was the 11th, 7/11. Yeah, that was when I got into that accident, and I had been listening to the solar plexus meditation while running the solar plexus program. And I was like so empowered. We talked about this on a different call. I was feeling so empowered, like I don't need anyone. I'm going to take on the world by myself. And then I got into the accident because that was not my truth. That was my defense. But so much has happened from that moment of revelation. And so I highly recommend, there's so many meditations for the solar plexus on YouTube. Just find one that resonates with you and run the solar plexus program while doing it. I guarantee you will have an amazing experience.
Cool. Love it. And it's 8/11 today. So that's yeah.
Right? I know. I just had this major revelation like earlier that like it's just everything's very, very synchronistic right now. And that's what happens when you do this kind of work. When you yourself to the betterment of yourself, you dedicate yourself to devoting your time to making yourself the best version of yourself, crazy things are going to happen.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that, just the fact that all you guys are devoting your time right now to this. And so I celebrate you for that, because you could be doing anything else. And I know there's sometimes we're like, I just want to be on vacation, but I love it. Like every time I come here, I'm so happy. And it's a devotion to something we believe in. And when you devote your time and attention, it pays off in spades. It really does. So.
Absolutely.
Yep. So you want to keep going, Ashley?
Sure. So now we've got some obvious programs in the meridians too. We've got the stomach program, the spleen and the pancreas that is lumped together as one program, and then the nerve program. In bioenergetic defense. And there was a great call this week by a shaman on the bioenergetic defense programs. And I have yet to drop those into our Vibe Tribe chat. I took some screenshots, and then, you know what, I'll probably post the link to the replay of that, and you could fast forward into when the shaman starts talking about the bioenergetic defense programs. These used to be called the protection programs, but compliance issues, or for compliance reasons, we changed it to the bioenergetic bioenergetic defense program. But essentially, these programs help create a barrier against energy. So if you're somebody who is wide open energetically, and you have a problem in crowds, or when you're sleeping you feel compromised, or you just are very susceptible to mental bombardment from your surroundings and media, these programs could be your best friend. So under bioenergetic defense for this particular week, we recommend, or Dr. Michelle Patrick recommends, doing the general protection program. It's great for calming down the body mind. And I love that she calls it a body mind, because it's not just a head mind, it's a body mind, meaning your stomach has its own mind. Your spleen has its own mind. All of your organs has its own mind. So the general protection program is great for calming down the body mind and blocking out the energies that don't belong to you. Not only pulling out old energies, but preventing weeds from being planted in the first place. I actually, I went to a concert a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even want to go. I don't like crowds, but my brother wanted to go, and so I went. And I ran the general protection program, and it really, really helped. And what's funny is later on that night, when I wasn't running the program, I felt fine all day during the concert. Later on that night, we went out to a brewery, and I wasn't running the program anymore. And I literally had to go home because I was just like overwhelmed with the energy. So a city too, which I don't do well in cities either.
Wow.
So I can tell that works.
Yeah.
It works for me too, because last weekend we went to a festival in a local area with good friends of ours, and I hadn't been to a festival in years. So like, okay, I'm a little timid, whatever, but I can talk to anybody and whatever. It's all her friends. But I ran the general protection, and I just naturally just put my Healy on. I don't care who sees it. I just, whatever. So I ended up talking to a couple people about it. And one of them was a nurse. She was a little skeptic, but at the same time, she goes, I think we need to connect sometime, because you're talking something that's hitting me and I don't know why. And I said, okay, great. Later on in the evening, she grabbed me like 3 times. Come do this with us. Come do this with us. I'm like, okay, so we obviously connected, but I never felt out of place. I never felt where I shouldn't be. I shouldn't do anything. And then actually, somebody told me, this one gentleman, there was a little bit of like their class reunion. They come back to this weekend fest every weekend, so they know everybody. And he said, happy birthday. And I went over and I just said, you don't know who I am. I'm good friends with Maria, but I want to wish you happy birthday. And he's like, you're supposed to talk to my wife. I went, what? And he goes, yeah. Maria said, I think you need to talk to my wife. So connect the two of them, because she couldn't find them. And so then we connected, and she's actually going through this whole change of the whole mind, body, spirit. Where am I? This change of the whole life in this group, and we're going to be connecting. She goes, I love your energy. I want your energy part of my life. I need it part of my presence. And it was just kind of like weird how she had total anxiety. So I took it out, and I ran the protection program on her. And I just said, here, I just did nothing, didn't put her in, didn't do anything. I just said, hold it. And I literally just clipped the protection program on her. And she came over to me later, and she's like, I don't know what you did to me, but I can handle the rest of this weekend with this crowd right now. And I'm like, yeah, you got to call me on this device, just because she was open to it. And I've never seen anybody react, besides me feeling that way. And then Donna, by the way, Donna sends her love. She's sitting on the runway right now, running the balance nerves program, because she's been sitting on the runway for 2 hours. So, but it was interesting to actually have that, knowing I was protected and feeling that protection. I've always run it when I come home from the office, because I only go to the office 1 day a week. It totally works. Totally takes you down, brings you back, protects you from whatever has to be there, even after the bad, like, I shouldn't say bad out. the negative energy that I know is in the office, in the office. But for coming home, I run it as well. And it's been like two major things. So I highly love that and recommend that program if anybody hasn't tried it.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And I ended up getting the same chills that I got during Kristen's meditation. I don't know what's happening to my chills. It's just new. It's really,
Maybe you need to run the chill program.
They're ye chills, ye chills.
Yeah.
Ashley, I would like to also add something with the defense program is that between now and the end of the year, we have some astrological alignments that are not going to be pretty, and we will be, taxed terrifically. And in the defense programs, they have part of that is planets. And I have been running that almost daily for the last week or so. And it does help. I will tell you that. So, everything that you're saying about that particular set of things, it just sort of kind of gives a barrier between you and all that stuff that's out there. And you have a clearer sense that you're making right decisions and putting right stuff in your body, and that you're going a better way than not. So I also highly recommend that.
I just ran that, as I said at dinner before this meeting. Never read it before. Just with the
Nice.
full moon. I was pulled to the moon last night, and in the full moon, I'm like, you might as well just protect your planet.
Love it.
That's wild.
absolutely.
Yes.
Love the bioenergetic defense programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Next, we have the Deep Cycle program, Digest All, which allows you to digest everything. Use especially when you're going through a period of a lot of work or worry. The bioenergetic vitalization programs, holistic support, because you are a holistic being. Cell, because the cell holds the frequency of the tiniest parts of yourself, which affect the largest parts of ourself. So we must fix the integrity of the cell, or the smallest parts of ourself. We must fix the integrity of the soil for our gardens to grow.
Mhm.
And the stability program, to create stability and calm within the body. If there's instability in your body, there's probably instability in your life. Chris, you want to do the last two?
Yep. And then we have digital nutrition programs, which are mind blowing. There's just so many different things that we have in there. Bioinformation, passion. This element is about devotion to your garden. And if you're lacking passion with something in your life, then it's probably not for you. I love that too. She was just talking about, if you're just like, I don't know if I really want to do that, or there's a big difference between when you know something's right for you and when you know something's not right. And so just really following that passion, because that helps with the clarity and that direction in which you need to go for your superpower, for supporting that spirit of yi. And then bioenergetic, did you want to say something?
Yeah, before you go into that, and I know we're coming up on an hour, but
Yeah.
I have noticed a theme with my clients. I'm talking about at least 4 clients that I know off the top of my head who are not happy with their career, and it's so uncomfortable for them. And that's because there's this major alignment happening. And it's the same thing with me. What is not for you has got to go, because you incarnated during this time to do something big. And that big thing could just be walking around with a smile on your face and spreading love and light. Like, it doesn't have to be like starting a, Fortune 500 company or something. But if it's not in alignment, it's going to be really, really uncomfortable. And so if you're not passionate about something, take a strong look at it right now. That's it.
So true. And then we have bioenergetic support. So coherence, which helps with clarity to hear the messages from the universe outside your own universe, Coherence brings you into integrity and frequency of existence, allowing you to create accordingly in your own individual, unique way. Coherence is an amazing, amazing program. Just coming into this beautiful heart-brain coherence and body, mind, spirit coherence. When everything's in coherence, everything's flowing. And you know, when you feel really on par and everything's going your way and you're just really, you're on top of the world, you're in coherence, and you can just create so much more when you're in that state. And it's a great thing to run when you want to just meditate or just slow down and kind of connect into what's really important to you. So it's a fantastic program.
Yeah, and she, even though it's listed last here, she actually named that first and just said coherence, coherence, coherence. So if it resonates with you, when the coherence program first came out, I ran coherence every single day for 2 weeks, actually. And my life has completely changed since I started using Healy. So that we're gonna talk about that. Well, we kind of already did talk about it, that Healy is just a major expansive tool. Like it's a tool for expansion. I wrote that under where it says Healy programs for the Yi. Be clear with what you want to bring about and birth into this existence using Healy as a major tool for expansion. So if it resonates with you, run the coherence program every single day this week. See what happens. And then that brings us to our daily homework. So we have a daily homework page. I don't know, Kristen, if you can bring that up. And if anyone is on this call and doesn't have access to it, you can find it on our Facebook group, which is the Solstice Sync Up, or you could ask the person who invited you here and they will send it to you.
We can do it if we did it after we're done with this page and just do the next two, because when I get out of this, it gets a little sticky. So if you
Sure.
want to talk about the additional things.
Sure. Yeah, so the daily homework we'll go over in a minute. But additionally, we've got some new practices for you to be aware of and focus on. One is to chew and enjoy your food and beware of and limit your sugar intake. So how many times do we scarf down food, not even thinking of, of slowing down and actually enjoying it and chewing it? I know I'm totally guilty of that. So focus on that this week. And then the higher self exercise, this is kind of like recreating the meditation, and Kristen will send out this video. So if you just want to re-listen to the meditation, you can do that too. But create Elysium. And Dr. Michelle Patrick said that. I was like, I love that word, Elysium, heaven on earth. So create Elysium within yourself by imagining yourself as a garden, because you are the earth. And using the strength of your Yi, you will know exactly how to grow your garden, when to weed, what needs to be watered and nurtured and harvested.
That's so beautiful. What a beautiful, I'd never heard of that Elysium before. Had you heard of that?
I heard of it in Gladiator, the movie Gladiator, but I didn't know what it meant. I just remember the word.
Okay, daily homework. Here we go. Okay.
So again, this is just to get us, I don't know if you can expand it a little bit more. This is just to help. Okay. Then you'll have to read it because I can't read it.
Yeah. So this is just something to work on throughout each week. And if you can just do a few of these a week, that's great, a day, and you can just add to it as you go along. At least 15 minutes of grounding a day. And it's easier to do now that it's summertime. So put your feet on the bare earth or garden, do whatever you can to just take your shoes off and ground. Do some breath work. And there's a Joe Dispenza one that we recommend, a 12-minute one. 7 minutes of doing nothing. Learn to just be, watch an animal for guidance on being, or just watch the nature. I just love just sitting and watching the birds and the trees and all that. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So for instance, if you weigh 150 pounds, like 75 ounces of water. run 1 to 3 Healy microcurrent programs from the weekly list, and journal which programs you feel, how you feel before and after. Move your body 20 minutes a day, walk, dance, exercise, find a new way to move your body that feels good and brings you joy, and do something to fall in love with life and tuning into your higher self or your inner child. And I love tuning into the inner child and asking them what would light me up right now, and just do that thing. So that's really important right now, to just lighten, really connect. Our inner children are really dying to connect with us on so many levels, all the time. We have the Phoenix child, that is the non-wounded child that knows all and is just amazing. And then we've got our inner child that has gone through all of life's struggles and whatnot, but still needs the love and nurturing and attention that from us. So.
And I would like to take, I know we've got only 2 minutes left, but I would like to take just a couple of minutes to actually set an intention while we're here on the call. I feel like when we actually set a time to do it, we do it. And so if you have pen and paper, I encourage you to just write down an intention for this week. And it could be beyond this week. It could be for the month, 90 days, a year. But set an intention.
Does anyone want to share?
I'll share.
Okay.
I said to connect deeply to myself and my future / higher self. To spend time each day visualizing my Garden of Eden, so that higher practice, higher self practice that we said, I'm going to do it every single day this week, and get really clear on what this garden looks like. To be that version of myself, to start being. Someone very wise in my life says it's, you don't get what you're, you get what you're being, not what you're doing. So be the version of myself that I want to be. To love my life and all in it, no matter who they are, what they may or may not have done to me. Just love. Just
Beautiful. Anyone else want to share?
Why don't you share, Kristen?
I want to do more the meditation, the garden meditation. I used to do it quite a bit when I was lying in bed at night and just going over the day. And I really like pulling the weeds, just pulling more of the weeds out, and just acknowledging, okay, that's one of the weeds that I'd like to pull out. And this is what I really want to focus on. So I too want to also work with that meditation. And I find that when I'm kind of falling in a dream state, it's a really super powerful time to do it. I used to do it when I was super anxious, and I'd pull all the weeds out of anxiety and uncertainty. And I just remember, like, I was physically in the garden and I would just pull out all the things that were stressing me out. And I was just planting just things that made me feel really good. It was so simple. So it's something that I find I can easily do, and I really want to do that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like we've got a week of gardening ahead of us.
we do. And I think down the road too, I just want to be more intentional when I plant my plants, and just like, this represents my relationship with my significant other, or this represents the happiness that I choose to feel within myself. I just think that just to nurture something like that would be amazing. So let's think about doing that too when we're planting our physical garden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Next week, let's see what we've got. I believe it is the Poe.
Oh,
Yeah, Poe. And I'm really excited about that one too. I mean, I'm really excited about all of this. I love this stuff.
mhm.
So funny. People ask me, how do I learn? Like, where did I get all of my information? And the same information is available to everyone. I just watch all the videos, learn from all the experts. I just find it absolutely fascinating what these human bodies can do and what we can create in this world. It's mind boggling to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm so glad that we're influenced by these amazing people out there. You just have to watch the videos and get inspired.
Mhm. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll
Yes.
see you.
See you next time, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.